Germans and guests, welcome to the Rotary Club of Pleasanton, the world's greatest Rotary Club. Very good. The meeting is being recorded and will be available for viewing on our YouTube channel. A warm welcome to our visitors today. We've got a few, which is wonderful. If you want to learn more about our club, please see Steve McCoy Thompson here in the beautiful blue sweater, and then or Ricky or myself. We'd be happy to talk to you more about our club. I want to thank our greeter and attendance taker, Andrew. He did it 2 weeks in a row. Thank you, Andrew Evans. And also Audrey and Kathy for handling all the money back there. Let's start the pledge. Frank, could you start us out on the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you. So we're gonna stop recording and start our We Care, our Happy Dollars. A song that's appropriate for this time of year that our one and only Ricky's gonna play for us. So let's sing along. Verses. I don't know about you. Jeez. Yeah. Yes. So Ricky's going to show us a quick Rotary International video just to remind us of the wonderful things we do.
Powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to come up with innovative ways to build sustainable housing and community centers, everyone learning from each other. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. In your backyard and around the world, there's power in our connections. Take action with us. Find out more at Rotary.org.
Great, thank you, Ricky. And next, it's time for our inspiration. Audrey, would you please come up?
Okay, so a while ago, my friend Eric Martin gave me a book. called How to Be More Tree. And I thought, well, that sounds pretty weird, but I looked through it, and each page has a type of tree and how it adapts to the world, and it's got inspiration for all of us. So for today, I picked the aspen. Draw strength from others. That relates to Rotary also. Making the effort to connect with those around us can bring powerful results. The aspen knows there's no prize for acting like a tough guy who doesn't need anyone. In fact, belonging to something bigger than themselves is the key to their strength. Each straight-trunked tree may look like a tall and proud individual, but under the surface, it is part of a single organism connected by the root system to all the other trees in the stand. If one tree is closer to water or important nutrients, it can share the goodies with the rest of the gang. Then a related tree inspiration, which you may have read in the paper quite a bit lately. This is attributed to Warren Buffett. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree long ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey. I guess our Christmas trees are also an important part of that story as well. Good. I'd like to welcome any visiting Rotarians. I know we have one sitting to my right. Who would like to introduce our visiting Rotarian? Joe's going to do it. Joe's going to do it.
From the Rotary Club of Dublin in the category of electrical contractor, please welcome the inimitable Bob Tugnan.
Oh, that was a big word, Joe. Welcome back, Bob. Great to have you. All right. Next, we want to welcome guests, and I think we have someone way back here. Excuse me. Sorry, Gino. Yeah. Yes, you do. You need them.
All right, thank you. So my guest today is our son Evan, Cal Poly graduate.
So Evan, you graduated from college. Now what are you doing? Are you got? All right, good. All right, awesome. Good. Keeping him straight, right? On target, on reach his goals. Good.
He's living at home. President Steve, fellow Rotarians, it's a pleasure to welcome today Julia Don. She manages corporate affairs for Chevron.
Welcome. Any other guests? All right. I'm going to say hello to a Rotarian that feels like a guest. She's been away for a while, but we'll cover that in a few minutes. Next, we have some Zoomers. Peter McDonald, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, fellow Rotarians.
Peter, do you know what day it is today for you? A special day? Or this month? I'm sorry, not this day, this month.
December.
I got
Something
you.
about December. You mean that I got married in December?
That's correct. Yes. Your
Okay.
anniversary.
That special
54
day
years,
has to wait till the 27th.
Oh, okay. I'm a little early, but we won't be meeting. So anyway,
Yeah.
happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Early. But I guess we'll do Bill. You're moving all over the place, Ricky. Bill Evans next. Is that all right?
Hey guys.
Hi, Bill.
Hello, good to see you guys.
With them Niners. Okay. They're real talkative today. Gary, how are you doing?
Hello, fellow Rotarians.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
And is that it, right? Welcome. What's happening in Monterey? Anything? No?
Having a great time as always.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Gary, are you on the golf course every week, or is that just on Thursdays at noon?
I wish it was real. It's just a fake background.
Fake news.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Even though you're Zooming, it's great to see your faces. So as you all know, one of the things that we do here at the club is if you're traveling abroad or traveling, you know, in another city, that you always bring back a gift for the president. And that's one of the benefits of being president of our club. I'm collecting quite a swath of items that I'm really enjoying looking at. My wife doesn't like seeing them, but anyway, I am enjoying them. And we have some more people that are returning from trips. So what I'd like to do is first off invite Julie Lewis up. Where is Julie? Over there. Julie, welcome back from your travels and come on up.
Fellow Rotarians. I have been on a whirlwind the last couple of months. In October, I went to Japan where we premiered Dawn's documentary in Tokyo. And following that, I was home for about 6 days and then I left for the UK and it premiered at a film festival in London. And then I just went ahead and spent a few weeks afterwards to explore Wales and Scotland. Japan was so long ago. Let's see, can you show this picture? That's all you can show? Oh, okay. So how many of you, when you've gone to foreign countries, have visited Rotary clubs and meetings? Would everybody agree it's a phenomenal experience? And when I was in Kyoto, I actually emailed the Kyoto Rotary Club and said that I would like to attend and asked about, you know, the cost and do they take credit cards or cash or whatever. So at any rate, when I arrived, they had a name card on my table telling where I was from. And this gentleman, and this was one of the Club Rotarians, and this gentleman was visiting from Serbia. And you can see our Pleasanton flag there. And they gave me a beautiful flag, but I can't find it. So when I find it, I will give it to you. But it was a great experience. And the wonderful thing about it is that the guy sitting next to me from Serbia had an app on his phone and he sat it between us and everything that was being said, it immediately translated for us. It was incredible. It was just like printing out faster than you could read it. So he shared that with me. In Japan, I have a friend who told me about the absolute finest cracker shop. Crackers are a big deal. Like not like, you know, we get them in the store and they're kind of cheap. The rice crackers that we get. But this is actually a very famous cracker shop in Kyoto. And these are the lovely ladies who sold me the crackers for you. So there you go. Well, you just said, please.
Much.
Arigato. No, that means arigato gozaimashita. Doitashimate.
Oh, thank you. That's all I know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Julie. So nice to have you. Next, we have Anshu that's here, came back from a wonderful trip to India. She, I guess, went to a couple weddings and anyway, come on up, Anshu. Great to see you again.
Hello, I'm happy to be back and happy to see you all. I've missed it for about a month, so a few weeks. I had a great time in India. I attended some family weddings, Diwali, which is a big festival in India, meeting family and traveling as well. So I had a great time and I'm happy to be back. So for President Steve, I got you.
I'll hold that for you. Okay.
One is a beautiful intricate.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Wow.
One is a holiday runner. It is from my hometown and it is
Oh,
handmade.
Oh, wow.
This is called block print, which is done by hand. So this printing is by wooden blocks. It is done by hand.
Really? Wow. Fabulous.
Big
It's a
runner.
nicer runner. Oh, yeah, we have a few of those. Wonderful. Thank you. So how do I say that in your native language? Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Daniva.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Appreciate it. So nice to have you back. Great. Next, I wanted to invite Larry back up from last week. We may have, for those of you that were here, Larry Annis, would you please come up? if you weren't here last week, and if you were, we're gonna do it again. He received a Paul Harris +5, correct?
Yeah.
And in the mail yesterday, I received this letter from our district that has.
They're gonna take it back.
Not quite. They wanted me to present this certificate of gratitude for your donation to Rotary International. So there you go. You're welcome. Do you want a picture or? Okay, all right. You're welcome. Okay, thank you, Larry. Congratulations again. Okay, I think, and then we've got Ricky, you have an announcement.
So on your table, if you'd please pick up one of those pieces of paper that looks like this, and there's a couple pins on every table. This is a survey that we want all of you to complete. And you can do it anonymously, but you would help us greatly if you don't mind putting your name on it, because what's going to happen is either myself, and I wear enough hats. I'm the secretary, I'm the, membership co-chair, I do the video stuff. So I have plenty of jobs. I don't need another one, which is calling people. So you could help me not to have to call you if you put your name on it, so we know we got what you think in regard to this survey. This survey is asking how we can increase engagement. Now, this is a great full room today, but a lot of times we're at 30 or less people, and we're wondering how could we encourage more of our Rotarians to come more frequently? The board has been discussing this. So the fourth question down, I just want to draw your attention to it. One of the suggestions, one of the ideas that the board is considering currently is beginning in July of next year, when the new Rotary year starts, asking or requiring all of our members to purchase a 10 lunch card for the year. So that means you'd be paying ahead to basically have 10 lunches sometime throughout the year, hoping that if people do that, if all of our members do that, that they'll show up at least 10 times to a Rotary meeting throughout the year. We don't really have that as our attendance requirement, but we want to encourage that. And if not, you're making a nice donation to the club, which is always great too. So we want your opinion about that and a couple other things that should take you no less or no more, than about a minute. So please, during the meeting, fill that out, put your name on it, and I'm going to pick them up at the end of the meeting so we get everybody's feedback. We really want to know what everybody in the club thinks and feels about this. So please fill that out. And any questions before I give the mic back? Any questions about it? Does everybody have one? I'll bring it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ricky, for putting that together. Really appreciate it. It's really important we get feedback from you on what we'd like to do to try to bring more folks to our meetings. And that's always been a challenge, and we want to improve upon that. My last announcement before I move it to our program, I would like just to let everybody know, if you didn't see it, there's a little basket at registration. I'm sorry I didn't send out a note earlier, but we're collecting just a little cash donation for the servers here at the restaurant to do a great job in providing the food, cleaning up after us, and all that good stuff. So do you want to pass that around, Kathy? Okay, great. All right, great. So if you wouldn't mind putting a little more than just a couple quarters, that would be great. So next, let me invite up our program chair, Mr. Brad Hurst, who's going to introduce our speaker for today. Give it up for Brad.
Thank you, President Steve. Today, our speaker comes to us from Houston, Texas. He's never spoken to a Rotary Club before, so this is a first-time experience for him. Michael Ruddick has worked for Chevron for 34 years, and he is the manager of business development for hydrogen fuel, which means Chevron's getting ready to market hydrogen fuel. Please welcome Michael Ruddick.
Thank you very much, Brad. It is an honor to be here today. And as Brad said, I've got 34 years with the company. The past 8 years have been really focused on hydrogen, but also building relationships within the industry to be able to market hydrogen and get it to where it is today. As Gino and I were discussing during lunch, Toyota's been in this game for almost 18 years now. So this is a A long time coming for Chevron as well too. We did multiple projects with the Department of Energy about 20 years ago, and now we're back. We are marketing hydrogen today. So I'm going to start at a high level and kind of discuss where we're going with hydrogen in the market today. Some examples of what's going on, where hydrogen is being applied, how it works in vehicles, et cetera. So if you would go ahead and start the slideshow, and we'll talk about Chevron's energy transition, because we certainly believe the future of energy is definitely lower carbon. So if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide, I'll kick this off. We need all of the above strategy within energy as well, but collaboration is critical for us. That means public-private partnerships. We see a lot of regulations and mandates coming into the market, but policy enablement is very important for a new fuel like hydrogen, because on its own, it's not as cheap as conventional fuels that we have today, such as diesel and gasoline. So we require some regulations, incentives, tax breaks, et cetera, to get the market started. And that's what has enabled California to be a leader here. So this is where Chevron is headquartered today. We'll continue working through these opportunities. And if you would go to the next slide, because our CEO, Mike Wirth, is always out talking about the future of energy and how Chevron is going to leverage its strengths to safely deliver hydrogen. Because if you talk to anybody in the electric vehicle market, Elon Musk, I won't name any names, but he talks about the Hindenburg and hydrogen fuel cells and et cetera. But safely delivering energy in the market is Chevron's #1 priority, and we'll continue to focus on that. So go ahead and go to the next slide. We are really starting out with a portfolio of projects and opportunities that we're looking at lower carbon. So we want to make not only gasoline and diesel much cleaner than it is today, but make investments for longer term. And that means looking in the mirror and doing it within your own supply chain. So we're looking at 35% reduction of our emissions in our upstream by 2028. We are well ahead of that right now, which is fantastic. No more flaring, no more anything that causes CO2 to be released into the environment. So we're very focused on the 2050 net zero aspiration that we have for our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. But we're focused on, as I said, renewable fuels and products, hydrogen being a key one in my portfolio. But my team sells, as I said, renewable diesel, renewable natural gas, as well as coming soon, renewable gasoline. So what do I mean by renewables? It means the feedstocks are either plant-based or recycled based, and turning those into fuels or blending those into existing supply chain that we have today, and then using potential carbon capture and utilization to reduce the amount of CO2 longer term. So what does this mean? We're putting our money where our mouth is. So $2 billion in carbon reduction programs and projects that we have today, $8 billion in lower carbon investments. A lot of that is in new companies and new startups with new technology that can get us where we need to be in the future at a much
reclaim to follow up with you.
I'll pause there for a second to, yeah, there you go. But we are continually working through this. So let's get into some of the details about hydrogen. We did 5 stations from 2005 to 2010 that proved out hydrogen could work. It was with Hyundai. As you see, that's a Nexo over there in the right-hand corner, but also the Toyota Mirai that is in the market today. Honda also has a car that's a Clarity. But where is this all going? Heavy duty trucking. So we're really focused on the hard to abate markets. But there's all kinds of different types of hydrogens, and I'll go into some of those details in the next slide. But hydrogen, what comes out of the tailpipe on these fuel cell electric vehicles? Water vapor. So there's zero pollution in what's coming out of the tailpipe, but it's really dependent on how the hydrogen is made, because there's a lot of different ways to make hydrogen. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide. But the important thing is that heavy duty trucking is moving to this today, reducing diesel emissions and CO2. 96% of the hydrogen made today is that gray hydrogen you see on the left from steam methane reforming. So that's blending natural gas and water, doing it at significant temperatures, separating the hydrogen out and capturing that. And then you can also capture all the CO2 that comes out of the stack there. That's blue hydrogen. And then green hydrogen is done through electrolysis of water. So you're putting an electric current through water, separating that into oxygen and hydrogen, capturing the hydrogen and storing it into vehicles. Hydrogen is the most abundant molecule in the universe, but it's also the smallest molecule in the universe. So it does not like to be contained. It likes to join with other elements and create water and also create natural gas and other things. So it's always trying to find another binding molecule to get together with. But we are looking at this for a longer term play. You are seeing a very small amount of vehicles in the market today. Total amount of vehicles of those Toyotas and Hyundai vehicles today is about 17,000, all in California. So why is that? It's because you've got this zero emission vehicle mandate that the governor has prescribed for the market. So electric vehicles are included that. Hydrogen vehicles also meet that zero emission vehicle threshold. So you'll start seeing more, Mirais. You'll also start seeing potential for Mercedes. As Brad mentioned to me during lunch, Mercedes may be coming. BMW is coming out with also a hydrogen fueled SUV. Most of your trucks, the bigger vehicles, will be of hydrogen fuel cells. So we know a lot of the auto manufacturers are already working through this. Chevron's job is going to be, how do we get that hydrogen to market? Got a question?
Hybrid versions of the vehicle where you can work with hydrogen and fossil fuels?
Yep. Great question. So the question was, are there going to be hybrid vehicles where you can utilize hydrogen with other type of fuels? And the answer is yes. Toyota's already looking at hybrid types of vehicles with fuel cells and batteries on board. Most of them will be that way. There are many of the truck manufacturers that are already utilizing renewable natural gas with hydrogen in combination to create energy on board and charge a battery to increase the range. Because a lot of the problems that people have with electric vehicles today is range anxiety, right? How long can I drive? Can I go over 300 miles? How long is it going to take me to charge? The fuel cell eliminates that charging aspect. It takes the same amount of time to fuel a hydrogen vehicle that it does to fuel your conventional gasoline vehicle today. So that's great news. You don't need to sit there for 2 hours and charge your battery, go through all your emails and phone and do other things while this charging is happening. You just pull up to the station like you would our Chevron in Pleasanton today. 2 to 3 minutes, the hydrogen is loaded on board and you're off on your way, just like conventional fuels today. So we're working through all that, but the real question is longer term, how's the hydrogen made? So go ahead and go to the next slide. We've got an array of colors in the way hydrogen is produced today. As I've said, 96% of hydrogen made today is that gray hydrogen that's produced from natural gas. We are going to capture the CO2 of that and make the blue hydrogen, which will be a lot more, or I should say a lot less carbon intensive. And then green hydrogen is the electrolysis I described by putting an electrocurrent through water. And you would hope that that electricity is renewable from either wind or solar. And then you could even use potential of nuclear energy through electrolysis to make pink hydrogen. But the colors are not important. What's important is lower carbon intensity. So that's really what Chevron focuses on. How do we reduce the carbon in this hydrogen today? Go ahead, question?
One currently or potentially more cost efficient?
Yes, the lowest cost hydrogen is the gray. That's why it's 96% of it. If it was really cheaper to make renewable hydrogen or hydrogen through electrolysis, once again, you're going to need the beautiful Inflation Reduction Act that is going to create tax credits to make electrolysis hydrogen much cheaper. Allegedly, the IRS is ruling on that. We don't know how that's going to be working, but longer term, renewable hydrogen should be equal to gray hydrogen based on, the incentives that are in the market. I see a question in the back there.
Yeah, hydrogen is a secondary source. You have to make it first. How much infrastructure is in place to provide all the hydrogen that's going to be necessary
Ooh. Great question, and I'm going to get to that. So the question was how much infrastructure is going to be in place to take hydrogen from production to the consumer, and I'll address that in a little bit in some ongoing slides. If you'll go to the next slide here, I'll talk a little bit about first how hydrogen is used. Chevron is looking at really the hard to abate sectors. So where you can't have a massive battery to power the vehicle, you're going to need hydrogen. So in transport, heavy duty trucks, aviation, also marine, but it is also hydrogen can be used as a replacement for natural gas in power plants. So you can utilize hydrogen to create electricity. It can be used in place for heating in steel, cement, chemicals, as well as to heat buildings, but also as a power backup. So all your data centers that used to have diesel gen sets, fuel cells can replace those, and hydrogen can be utilized in those. But it's a huge feedstock today. We're creating significant amounts of hydrogen at our refineries every day, but we're utilizing that as a feedstock to make conventional fuels. But we'll see that start to go in direct fuel use. We make fertilizers with it today. There's all kinds of other chemicals and processes that are utilizing hydrogen today. So it does exist. We just got to figure out how to efficiently get it to the market at the lowest cost. So go ahead and go to the next slide. These are some of the numbers here on where we are of the supply chain and getting down there, but I'll get specific in there. But you're talking about 10% of energy potential by 2050, which requires a 2.5% times growth rate from today. So we're talking about significantly more hydrogen. There's about 750 projects that are in development today, many of those under the Department of Energy program in producing hydrogen hub. California recently won one of those locations called Arches. Chevron's involved in this. It's a consortium of over 200 different companies that are vying for hydrogen production, transportation, and fueling for customers. So we'll continue to see how that evolves. The announcement should be made on some specific details on how those projects are going to be developed, and that's coming within the next few months. So get ready. You're going to hear more about hydrogen, but you will be the most educated people in Pleasanton, which will give you a huge head start on hydrogen. So feel really comforted by that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And this is the supply chain. So it's fairly complicated because, as I mentioned, hydrogen is the smallest molecule in the universe. It needs to be compressed and shipped at pressures that we've never really seen before. I'm talking anywhere from 10 to 14,000 PSI. So we take that, compress it after it's gone through the production process, put that in tube trailers, or we liquefy that at negative 420 Celsius, put it in trailers, and then ship it out. So a lot of complexity around that. And then, as you know, Chevron's been running refineries for many years now. It is very complex. So safety has got to be a #1 priority. You can use truck and trailer transportation today, or you can ship that via pipeline. We could potentially repurpose the natural gas pipelines to be able to utilize hydrogen, but it's going to start with conventional, probably gaseous hydrogen in trailer transport, fueled by fuel cell trucks and pulled around in the various locations wherever the stations are. So go to the next slide and I'll talk a little bit about what's going on in California specific to this market here, where it is policy enabled. We are working with Iwatani, which is a partner of ours, and I manage that relationship as well. We've got anywhere from 15 to 30 stations that we're developing in the California market. The large red H's that you see throughout California there are a symbol for commercial fueling. So big heavy duty trucks. This is where they'll be fueled so they can go from Southern California to Northern California. Arches is going to be a big enabler within the market, but it's going to really take continued partnership to get the costs down for what we have to do in the market over the next 5, 10, 15 years to enable these fuels and bring the costs down. But Chevron will be a big player in that. We're working with Toyota, Iwatani, all these other different companies to make sure we can bring that cost down and get as equal to conventional fuels today as we can. To give you an example of where things are on the pricing side of things. If anybody knows anybody who drives a Mirai today, they are paying anywhere from $24 per kilogram to $36 per kilogram. So what does that mean? Like for per gallon, per kilogram versus a gallon, it's about 1.5 times per kilogram to say.
Is of gasoline, so it would be about $12. Your batteries and just run out. Get the hydrogen. Yeah, yeah, so if it was powered by hydrogen, it would, we could just, that battery would have been recharged. Welcome. Perfect timing with you guys. Yeah. I think, you know, it'll continue to evolve. The prices will continue to come down. They are very, very high right now, but, you know, that's gonna be worked on. You need a lot more players and you need really the Arches project to start producing more hydrogen.
What about miles per gallon?
Yeah, so it's almost 2 times. So thank you very much for replacing the battery. So it's almost 2 times in existing cars. So people that drive the Mirais and the Nexos today are getting 2 times what you would on a gallon of gasoline. So the efficiency works out well for diesel fuel. It's about 1.5 times. So for the heavy duty trucks, the efficiency won't be as good as it is for gasoline, but those improvements will continue to be made as they build the trucks better, build more of them, and get them a lot more efficiencies. Yes, in the back.
Good question. How much does the hydrogen weigh compared to the gasoline?
Yeah, it's very light, right? So the density of hydrogen from an energy perspective is significant, but it's just very lightweight. That's why you have to compress it so much in these tube trailers. It wants to escape every time you try to let it out into the, you know, open air area. It wants to go up. So it's very difficult to manage it.
And the other question is, I understand Tesla at one point in time was making a concerted effort to make electric powered trucks.
Yes.
Semi trucks. I haven't heard too much about it recently, and I was surprised to hear that your market is going to be that. Without being too biased, can you kind of compare as to what
Sure.
status of your project is versus what Tesla's doing?
Sure, and Tesla did. So the question was, he'd heard that is Tesla going to be getting into the trucking business? And yes, they have built Class 8 heavy duty trucks. They just recently delivered the super truck, but the large scale trucks are in the market. The primary issue with that is the range of the truck. Also, the charge time of the truck is anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. And then the weight of that truck takes up significant amount of capacity within the trailer. So they can't put as much cargo on them. So I see another question there in the back. Go ahead. So the hydrogen generation, do they work similar to the diesel? And it's a totally different process of what. So it's a chemical process when you utilize the hydrogen in a fuel cell to generate the electricity, whereas diesel is a combustion process that creates CO2 emissions when you crank it up. But the efficiency of the fuel cells is very good. We're getting a lot of progress that's being done on the power side. Do I see a future where backup home generation could happen with fuel cells? Absolutely. As they create more fuel cells in the market and the price comes down, it would be equal to the nat gas or diesel generator that you would have in the market today. Okay, you're first.
It seems that there's a public relations problem in this country in regard to what you're talking about, especially your logo.
Yes.
According to the Greens, that you're an evil company.
Right. So the question is, there seems to be a public relations problem with oil companies, and we just say oil companies in general, but specifically with Chevron. So what are we going to do about that? And, you know, we're really going to continue how we operate in a safe, effective, lower carbon manner. And really the proof is just by the products that you put out and the way you reduce carbon within the market. So you don't necessarily have to you know, tell a lot of greenwashing type stories, but we are doing everything we can to show proof in the marketplace that we will have lower carbon solutions longer term. And I think that'll continue. We've shown our commitment. I think really the market is what rewards the proof when you put it out there and show that you can actually have lower carbons in the market and you are lowering your emissions across the supply chain. So agreed, it is a public relations problem, but Juliet's here to explain any other things that I may have missed. Go ahead, question. So the question is, have tests been done in airplanes? And the answer is yes, they have. The difficulty is how to get enough hydrogen onto the airplane to utilize the fuel cell. All this equipment right now for hydrogen weighs a significant amount. So you got to be lightweight when you go on an airplane, and you have to be very efficient. So they're doing short trips now, but will you ever fly across the ocean in a hydrogen or electric plane? Very doubtful. It'll mostly be sustainable aviation fuel. And that's what Chevron's focused on right now. And many of the airline companies are also focused on sustainable aviation fuel, which makes it a little easier. So that's renewable feedstocks, but it's getting better. I mean, so local commuters, you could see that with hydrogen, as well as potential for electric battery operated planes. Brad.
To bring this to market, are the stations going to have to install additional underground tanks and additional dispensers?
So the question is, to get the product to market, will the stations be similar with underground tanks? And the answer right now is no. The tanks are above ground. They're cylinder, large tanks, and you can't really put as much hydrogen as you can for a conventional fuel. So we can get, you know, anywhere from 10,000 gallons of gasoline in tanks up to 20,000 in the composite tanks that we have today. For hydrogen, it takes steel. You can get about 2,000 gallon equivalent, so significantly less. But we think if, as it goes on, we'll be able to bury those tanks. Many of the manufacturers have said they are producing tanks that can be buried, but we're not right now. We're putting them above ground so that you can constantly inspect them. You can maintain them. You can check for leaks, etc. Because, you know, it's a new product. We need to make sure and understand that safety is the first priority.
How about dispensers?
Dispensers are very similar. The biggest difference is they lock on to the tank so that there's no escaping of the gas when you put them over the receptacle. They're a little heavier than a nozzle that you have today for gasoline and diesel. But the material is so significant in the metallurgy that you need to keep it a little heavier right now until they develop a lighter weight material. But we're continuing to work on that. Yes, in the back. So a great question. How can we, you know, reduce the transportation cost and make production happen potentially on site? And Chevron has invested in a small company that produces on site hydrogen. In fact, our initial projects that we did eliminated transportation. We produced all the hydrogen on site. So that is an option. The issue that you want to look at is how green is that production process? So we talked a little bit about that. So electrolyzers need to get a lot smaller and a lot cheaper before we get there. But I think ultimately that will probably be the answer, is to produce hydrogen on site, eliminate all the transportation. The other significant opportunity is shipping hydrogen through a conventional pipeline, even though you may have some embrittlement problems, but those are getting worked through by the various universities.
The location of the hydrogen production plant would be near the hydroelectric
They do have that in the Northeast. So the question is, you would put and want to utilize hydrogen as close to the source as possible. And that's exactly true. That's what's happening today. You had a sure.
First one is stockholders. You have 1.9 billion shares of stock in your company. Vanguard owns, I think, 9% of your stock right now. How do they feel about your investment? And what's your and the second question, what is your long-term payout on this for stockholders?
Now, so it's a great question. So our stockholders, how do they feel about this? Vanguard is a significant stockholder of ours. There's several others, I think Fidelity and BlackRock and multiple different others. So how do they feel about Chevron and what's going to be the return of this longer term? The stockholders are liking the lower carbon message. You know, what's going on in hydrogen today and how it's developing is it's a progression. Would we be doing this if there wasn't a return on investment? No, we wouldn't. We are a for-profit company. We're not a charitable organization. So we would definitely not be embarking in this if we didn't see value for our shareholders longer term. You know, the question is, when are you going to get up to the point of getting scale? When are you going to get the volume compared to the amount of fuel and products our refineries make, the amount of oil we produce globally? When it'll take a significant amount of time to get to that scale, but we are working on that. I think our message has resonated with stockholders.
Do you have a 20-year ROI?
On hydrogen?
Yes.
Oh, of course. Yes, we do.
It's shareable.
Is it shareable to some degree, but I mean, you have to have a minimum 15% return on every project you do at Chevron. That's just the way we operate as an enterprise. There's a corporate hurdle, so it's anywhere from 15 to 18%. Yeah. Go ahead and go to the next slide. I think I've got a couple more. This talks a little bit about the policy enablement within the market. You know, we are engaging with governments to try to understand how can we work together to enable this. There's national, federal, regional policies that we're working through. Chevron is very technology neutral. We shouldn't be selective on this one's a winner or this one's a loser. We want the market to determine how this goes forward. And then governments will need to continue to offer financial incentives, which means putting your tax dollars to work in a way that is enabling a lower carbon environment to be maintained and continue to grow longer term. And then we'll go to the next slide and closing thoughts here. Chevron is in the hydrogen business and we will be in it for longer term, longer than 20 years. We've been in business for over 140 years today. We want to continue to play in this market. We think hydrogen has a lot of opportunity. We are selecting project opportunities all over the world today. Partnership and advocacy is a big play for us. And we believe that the returns exist in this market or we would not be investing in it. Really appreciate this crowd, the great questions. You are all educated in hydrogen now. So if you have any further questions, let me know. It's been a privilege to be here, though. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Oh, Tom?
Many of you know I'm involved with Rotoplast. We do the medical trips around the world. And every trip that we go on costs around $100,000. And sometimes we get that from Rotary clubs. But sometimes we get it from Chevron. Chevron did a great job in providing the 100,000 more than once for our missions in Bangladesh. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for that insight. And Juliet, it's so good to see you. And Michael, thank you for the presentation. I think we're very privileged here in the Bay Area to have Chevron headquartered here and all the jobs that you create and the community give back that you do in our communities. So thank you for all that you do for the Tri-Valley and the entire Bay Area. So appreciate you being here. So I wanted to ask Jesus to come up for a minute, our lead server for Rubies and Roses. Jesus, on behalf of our club, we really enjoy being here. And want to thank you and your team for your awesome service. And we especially like the spicy noodles. Those are really, this gentleman here loves them. Mike Ostrom, and he thinks they're fantastic. So here you go. Thank you. There's a gift for you. Please share that with your team. and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you everybody as well for your support on the community. And what I want to say, Feliz Navidad to everybody, and thank you for that. I want to help my friends. It's that's a difficult question for me. I'll sell the kitchen for sure, definitely. Thank you very much, everybody, for being great, and thank you very much again, everybody.
All right.
Enjoy. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jesus, appreciate it. John Heatherly has a couple comments before you go. Hold on, we're almost, still got a couple minutes. Come on up, Joe.
Hey, everybody. Great presentation. It's fabulous. Big fan of hydrogen. Hope you guys pull it off. Yeah, huge fan. I'd love it even more if Chevron wanted to contribute to the WASH project. We're in need of about $80,000. That'd be wonderful. That would solve all these questions I'm about to ask right now. So I wasn't here last week. Everybody got to see pictures from Nancy and Gary and the clan about what's going on overseas to help people less privileged to be able to live a healthier lifestyle. We all know about the people that lose their lives because of lack of sanitation. So I am here to ask each of you, if possible, I know it's the giving month, and right now I'm asking you to give for WASH. We need to raise some money for projects for outhouses, boreholes, sanitation projects, products, education, so on and so forth. So I'm going to start with $100, and I'm hoping other people might contribute today. Givers right here, outstanding. 100 as well. We got Gary in the back. Check. Anyone? Chevron.
Thanks, John.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank.
I don't know.
Give it to the foundation. Yeah. All right, great. Thank you, John. Now we have our opportunity drawing. Everyone's waiting for, yes.
$24 in it.
Oh, that's right. We had a winner last week. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he did. Here's the first number, 4092. Oh, Joe, all right. Let's bring him down. I'll bring it down to you. Okay.
Give me the 20.
Pay for some coffee. Oh my, how'd you do that? All right, you got it. $24. Wow. Fantastic. Did you buy a lotto ticket today? Yeah, we're done. Okay. Again, thank you all to the visitors that are here, came today. Great to see some faces we haven't seen for a while. Hope you come to our holiday party next Thursday at my house with my wife and I are hosting. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be plenty of food. So please come at any time. There'll be plenty of food for everybody, plenty of drink too. So don't worry about that. And we'll see you then on the 14th at 5 o'clock. We are adjourned. We'll pick the surveys up.